I just want to jump in here, Mr. Secretary, and play a bit of a ride-along I did with ICE. This was back in 2016, and actually Tom Homan, the now border czar for the Trump administration, was there with me on this ride-along. Let's watch some of this piece and then talk on the other side of it.
There's a lot of risks when we're having to do this out in the street like this. You always have risk to ourselves, the officers, risk to the innocent bystanders. Go on.
The team finds its third target, working at this auto shop on the north side of Chicago. A twice-deported felon with 2 DUI convictions, according to ICE.
Any weapons on you?
Then agents realize his brother is also there.
So why are you checking the brother?
Based on preliminary, it looks like he's also illegal. So we're just going to verify with some of the new technology.
They use a new mobile fingerprint scanner on the brother to see if he's ever been stopped by immigration officials before.
Yeah, it's a hit.
And just then, an agent takes off as a third person runs out the back door. They catch him seconds later.
So if there's a hit with the biometric testing, he'll be brought into the processing center to see if there's a criminal history?
Yeah, we'll bring him in and go from there.
As the man's frightened wife watches, he admits he is in the U.S. illegally, but a quick check shows he has never had any interactions with federal immigration officials before, so ICE lets him go.
Good luck to you, man.
Relieved, the man explains why he ran.
I was afraid.
Why?
I don't know. It's just how it is. I mean, sometimes they just take you and they don't care whatever they do. But this time, I mean, I guess I'm not one of those.
So this was under President Obama with a different immigration policy. It was also, though, when Donald Trump was running for president and making sanctuary cities a big part of his campaign message. And I interviewed you for part of that story, that this operation in a sanctuary city. And I wonder what you make of the way ICE is conducting its operations now and how it compares to then to the department you ran.
Yeah. I remember that interview in 2016. I remember when you went out with ICRO. It reminds me that when I was Secretary of DHS, I used to tell ICE enforcement and removal operations leadership, including Tom Homan, who worked for me then, that when you're out on the streets engaging in law enforcement, enforcing our immigration laws, use your common sense. One horrific incident, like a shooting, like a death, can derail your mission in an entire community and make ICE toxic in an entire community. And I'm afraid that's what's happening right now in Minneapolis. Working with local law enforcement is fundamental to the immigration enforcement mission. Going after the worst of the worst in jails, placing detainers on them is fundamental for public safety. If the local leadership, the local political leadership, the city councils refuse to work with ICE, that mission is undermined. And so I used to urge enforcement and removal operations personnel, use your common sense when you're out there. Be careful and use your common sense. And it doesn't appear to be happening right now.
The current Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, spoke to reporters at the White House just last hour and was asked whether U.S. citizens need to carry proof of citizenship. Listen and watch this.
In every situation, we're doing targeted enforcement. If we are on a target and doing an operation, there may be individuals surrounding that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity. That's what we've always done.
So, Mr. Secretary, what's your reaction to that? And is that common practice for ICE officials to ask someone to validate their identity?
In general, no. I could envision a situation, an exception to the general rule where that is sought. I'm not familiar with the circumstances that the Secretary is referring to, but in general, no. On the streets, law enforcement does not ask someone to produce proof of citizenship or identification unless there's some sort of arrest situation or some other exigent situation, I suppose.
These ICE agents we see in the video, Mr. Secretary, the video that's coming in from Minneapolis, they are federal law enforcement officers, as you well know. They aren't local police officers. Why are they interacting with protesters, and is that even normal? Well,
again, this is appearing to me to be a very combustible situations, logs being tossed on a burning fire, and that's in no one's interest, whether it's the local citizens, whether it's local political leadership, local law enforcement, or federal law enforcement. It's in no one's interest to have these types of overheated confrontations on the street. ICE needs to do its job, local law enforcement needs to do its job, but again, in these kinds of combustible situations, law enforcement, those who are armed, need to use their common sense so that a bad overheated situation doesn't get worse and a lot of people get hurt.
During your time leading